Hello there! Today's story is about a young woman named Ejiri Miho, born on July 15th, 1988. After graduating from high school, she took a job as a sales clerk at a dim sum restaurant, but due to back pain, she decided to quit. Miho then found a new job in the service industry where she quickly became one of the most renowned employees in the region. But she had a weakness. She was stalked by some customers, which caused her a lot of trouble. This incident drew a lot of attention in the service industry community in Japan, especially in the Akihabara district, known for its many toy, souvenir, and anime-related shops, as well as the most famous electronics district in Japan. Here, there are also many household items, computer parts, game consoles, and other products for sale, but the most famous are the maid cafes that have opened in this area. One of the famous services in Japan is the ear cleaning service, where customers are served by young, beautiful women dressed in traditional yukata. After entering the store, customers are led to a small room with tatami mats, where the beautiful female staff will kneel down and let the customer rest their head on their lap, while also preparing the tools to perform the ear cleaning service. In addition, they also provide additional services such as neck and foot massages to help customers relieve stress after a long, tiring day. The incident involving an earwax removal employee in Akihabara has drawn special attention to this service industry in Japan, reflecting part of the culture and daily life of the people here. Miho, after quitting her job at a certain store, started working at an earwax removal shop in Akihabara in January 2008. After a period of working at the shop, she had built up her own client base as she was very skilled and had a high learning spirit. When serving different customers, she would adjust the intensity of her gestures to suit each one. Additionally, she would listen and chat with them during the service, and gradually, Miho was highly praised by many customers, with many becoming her regular clients. Miho did not use her real name while working, but instead used the stage name Marina. She was not an exceptionally beautiful person, but became very famous in the earwax removal service industry. She always applied light makeup and had a cute style, which made her popular with many customers. Soon after entering the profession, Miho became the top earner in the shop with a maximum monthly income of up to 680,000 JPY, a fairly large sum of money for a girl who had only completed high school. Due to her success in the job, Miho was invited to appear as a guest on a television program to introduce her earwax removal service. However, just as her career was on the rise, Miho encountered an unfortunate incident directly related to the work she was doing. So what happened to Miho on that day, and what did she have to endure and go through? The story begins in February 2008 on a cool spring day. A 40-year-old man named Hayashi Koji was browsing the web when he accidentally discovered a highly rated earwax removal shop in Akihabara. He decided to try the service and made an appointment under the name Yoshikawa. The man's home was in Chiba City, a Tokyo suburb about 40 kilometers from Akihabara, so he took the train to get there. It wasn't long before Koji arrived in Akihabara and went to the ear cleaning shop where he had made a prior appointment. The basic service at this shop was 30 minutes for 2,700 JPY. If he wanted a longer service, such as 1 hour, he would have to pay 4,800 JPY, and if he wanted to request a specific staff member, he would have to pay an additional 500 JPY. This was a standard ear cleaning shop that did not provide any special services, and customers were not allowed to touch the staff during the process. Coincidentally, the staff member serving Koji this time was Miho. From the very first time he saw Miho, Koji was deeply attracted to her cute appearance and sweetness, and the ear cleaning process also made him feel very comfortable. A few days later, Koji returned to the shop and paid an additional 500 JPY to request Miho's exclusive service. Besides work, Koji lived alone in an apartment, so he had a lot of free time. He would often stop by the shop even though the round trip would take 2 hours by train. Koji would always book a 1-hour package initially, then gradually increase it to 2 or 3 hours. At least 3 times a week on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Koji would visit the shop and request Miho's service. However, too frequent ear cleaning could lead to ear canal inflammation, so Miho did not dare to clean his ears too much. Instead, they would sit and chat, watch movies, play games, and eat sweets. The longest Koji stayed in the shop was 8 hours, and the amount he paid for a single day was not less than 10,000 JPY. On July 15th, 2008, it was Miho's 20th birthday. Although Koji had to go to work, he had taken the day off to dedicate it to Miho's special day. That day, he was dressed neatly and had prepared a birthday gift waiting for Miho outside the shop. When Miho saw Koji, she felt a bit surprised. Since starting this job, she did not want to have any outside contact with customers, as she had previously had unpleasant experiences with customers approaching and harassing her. She immediately ran upstairs to report to the manager, hoping the manager could counsel him. Hearing Koji's gloomy and lonely words, Miho also thought a lot and was afraid she would become a victim of harassment again. The next day, Koji came back to the store to bring up the incident from yesterday, but Miho said she had experienced that before and felt terrible, so she didn't want to. However, through his subtle words, Koji made Miho trust him and put aside her past sorrows, and things became good again. Miho's charming appearance and gentle, caring personality captivated Koji, and he even smiled contentedly when he saw her. From December 27, 2008 to January 4, 2009, Koji used the ear cleaning service a total of 154 times just to get close to Miho. Koji's colleagues also felt that something good must have come to him in the past 41 years. After getting to know each other, Miho and Koji gradually bridged the gap and conversed like normal friends, which gave Koji a lot of hope. During one conversation, he asked Miho if he was handsome. Although Miho was a server, she did not want to offend anyone, so she replied that he was a little more handsome than average. The relationship between Miho and Koji continued to develop, and he was no longer satisfied with just meeting her at the store. Koji again proposed that Miho go on a date outside the store, but she refused, citing the store's rules that did not allow that. Miho showed him a photo of her family, emphasizing that she did not live alone to avoid as much trouble as possible. Rejected in his feelings, Koji was very annoyed and specifically sought help from the store manager, but the manager also refused and reminded him to pay attention to the rules. However, he would not listen, and they even had an argument afterwards. As for Koji's background, after graduating from a vocational school in electricity, he went to work as a repair technician for an electrical equipment distribution company. Koji is an introverted, serious person, unlike most of his male colleagues, and he never parties. Even when attending company-organized parties, he just quietly sits and drinks tea. In fact, Koji does not dislike drinking alcohol, but he cannot drink alcohol for health reasons. At the age of 26, Koji was diagnosed with a connective tissue disease, with symptoms such as rashes, unexplained fever, joint swelling and pain, and muscle aches. After a period of treatment, his condition was well controlled, but he still had a risk of relapse, so Koji had never intended to marry anyone. His family has 4 people, including his parents and a younger brother. At the age of 28, he left his hometown to establish a career in Chiba City, and has lived as a bachelor for many years. It can be said that Koji has not won the hearts of women and has never dated anyone. Although he has a savings account of up to 10 million JPY and a stable monthly income, most of this income is spent on ear cleaning services. As for Miho, in order to maintain her income source, she is reluctant to offend her regular customers, so she still serves them. On April 5th, 2009, after experiencing Koji's service, he invited Miho to dinner, but was rejected because she already had a date with a friend. He tried to persuade Miho to have dinner the next day with a coercive tone, and she had no choice but to fearfully agree. After the conversation, Miho cried to her colleagues and begged the manager to ban Koji from the store, and from then on, Koji could no longer contact Miho. Although Koji called and sent apology messages, they were all ignored by Miho. In early May 2009, Koji waited outside the store and secretly followed Miho home after her shift, but Miho did not notice that someone was following her. After a few days, Koji found Miho's home and stood nearby, waiting for her to return. When she saw him, she was very frightened, but Koji begged her not to ignore him, but still was rejected by Miho. Since then, Miho has had to ask her colleagues to give her a ride home to avoid being harassed. On July 19th, he was waiting for Miho on her way home, and when he saw her, he ran to her and grabbed her hand, saying he couldn't sleep all day because he missed her, and asked if he could continue to accompany her to the store where she worked. After hearing this, Miho felt disgusted and frightened. She begged Koji to leave her alone, then ran straight to a nearby convenience store and called the police. When the police arrived, they heard Miho's account of the incident but found nothing unusual in the area. From that day on, Koji was unable to meet or contact Miho again, which only made him more angry and led to his evil intentions. Early in the morning on August 3rd, 2009, Koji left his home carrying a hammer, a kitchen knife, and a fruit peeler, and went to Miho's house. Coincidentally, her house was unlocked that day, so he easily burst in. Miho's 78-year-old grandmother was startled by the presence of a stranger in the house and cried out in alarm. Seeing the situation, Koji immediately attacked and killed the elderly woman with the hammer. He then went upstairs to Miho's room where she was still sleeping and repeatedly stabbed her, seriously injuring her. Miho's mother and younger brother were also home at the time and quickly ran outside to call the police. Koji did not try to flee, but sat on the ground with a dazed look, unable to believe what had happened. He then went into the bathroom, undressed, and he tried to escape, but the police had already surrounded the house and apprehended him. Miho's 78-year-old grandmother died on the spot, and Miho was rushed to the hospital, but could not be saved from the clutches of death. It was a tragic loss. After a month, Koji's case was brought to trial at the Tokyo court in October 2010. He was charged with premeditated murder, and the prosecution requested the death penalty. In court, Koji admitted to his crimes and sincerely apologized to the victim's family. After a 2-week trial, the court has issued a verdict. The presiding judge stated that Koji's criminal motive was selfish and impulsive. However, the court was moved by the feelings of the surviving victims and the deep remorse of the defendant. Therefore, the court unanimously decided not to sentence Koji to death, but instead a life sentence. After hearing the verdict, he announced that he will comply and not appeal. With this case now closed, Miho was a gentle and beautiful girl from a young age. She was very diligent in her studies. But due to various reasons during high school, her grandfather's temperament became very irritable, even wanting to kick Miho's father out of the house. After these events, Miho decided not to continue studying, but to go to work, in the hope of saving money to help her parents buy their own house, as at that time her family was living in her grandparents' home. Miho's father was very saddened by the incident. He shared that he wished he could have risked his own life to protect his daughter, but could not. In their teenage years, father and daughter had very little conversation, and now it was too late. On Miho's birthday, he gave her a bottle of wine, which made him very happy, but on August 3rd, his life was destroyed. Seeing his daughter's swollen face in the hospital, the medical tubes attached to her body, and those wounds, he could not alleviate the pain in his heart. His daughter must be suffering greatly from the incident. His wife was in shock, causing mental instability, and the fear haunted the whole family completely, disrupting their lives. He knew he had to be strong and be a firm support for the family, but the tears kept flowing. He could not forgive the perpetrator, but he could not do anything. At first, Koji had a good job and had the right to pursue love, but he had made the life of Miho's family increasingly worse. He had used an extremely wrong way to resolve his emotional problems, ultimately leading to this tragic sorrow. How do you feel about today's case? Leave a comment so we can discuss, and if you liked it, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support us. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.